Tao of Jeet Kune, part number 14, page number 13. Punches and kicks are tools to kill the ego. The tools represent the force of intuitive or instinctive directness, which, unlike the intellect or the complicated ego, does not divide itself, blocking its own freedom. The tools move onward without looking back or to the side. Because of the pure hardness and empty-mindedness inherent in man, his tools partake of these qualities and play their role with the utmost degree of freedom. The tools stand as symbols of the invisible spirit, keeping the mind, body, and limbs in full activity. Absence of stereotyped technique as the substance means to be total and free. All lines and movements are the function. Non-attachment as the foundation is man's original nature. In its ordinary process, thought moves forward without halting. Past, present, and future thoughts continue as an unbroken stream. Non-attachment as a foundation of man's original nature gets me to think about just the non-attachment of animals and how you can see documentaries where a lioness will have a little cub that she's protecting, and she'll hide this cub from other animals so he's not attacked, and she'll leave him hidden while she goes hunting for food. But then she'll come back and sometimes the cub is killed. And it's just a part of nature, it's a part of life. Death is a part of life, and they just move on about their way. And it's just the way of nature, is they don't fear death. Death is just something that just happens. And nighttime could come and they may never see the next day, because every night you don't know what's going to happen. So animals, it's like they live in the present moment more. They're more in the present moment. Humans are the ones that have minds that think about the past and the future and the ego, and it's always thinking with thoughts. But non-attachment is the way of nature. And when you become more meditative, when you have less thoughts, when you think about the past and the future less, then you're more in tune with the way nature intended. In its ordinary process, thought moves forward without halting. Past, present, and future thoughts continue as an unbroken stream. In my eyes, present cannot be a thought. Only past and future can be a thought. Present has nothing to do with the mind. It's just being in the moment. Absence of thought as the doctrine means not to be carried away by thought in the process of thought, not to be defiled by external objects, to be in thought yet devoid of thought. Truth thusness is the substance of thought, and thought is the function of true thusness. To think of thusness, to define it in thought, is to defile it. Bring the mind into sharp focus and make it alert so that it can immediately intuit truth, which is everywhere. The mind must be emancipated from old habits, prejudices, restrictive thought processes, and even ordinary thought itself. In my eyes, truth comes when there's no mind. When the mind is present, it's not truth. So rather, the mind shouldn't be focused, but the mind should be dropped. Once the mind is dropped and you're in silence, then truth is everywhere. Scratch away all the dirt your being has accumulated and reveal reality in its isness, or in its suchness, or in its nakedness, which corresponds to the Buddhist concept of emptiness. That statement gets me to think about, like, this is a common Eastern teaching, or even in Buddhist teachings, talking about the mirror that gets dusty and dirty, and that you need to clean the mirror to make it clear. So, scratching away the dirt, I'd rather say just wipe away the dirt, clean the dirt, rather than just scratching it. If you just scratch the dirt, you're not really truly cleaning it. So if you actually clean the dirt away, then it'll be more clear. So it's talking about clean the dirt from your being that's accumulated and reveal its reality and its isness. So just think about the dirty mirror once again. If it's dirty and you just scratch the surface, you'll just see a glimpse of the reality. But if you completely clean the surface, by wiping away all the dirt, then you'll see the reality for what it is. So it just gets me to think about how dirt accumulates through time, and dirt is like a representation of the mind and the ego and thoughts, and you need to constantly clean this dust, this dirt, because it accumulates through time, just like mirrors accumulate dust and furniture accumulates dust. We need to constantly cleanse ourselves of this dust and dirt so that we're constantly clear and aware. And the more time that passes, the more dust and the more dirt will accumulate. So it's like a forever process of cleaning. And you can't let too much time pass, otherwise the dirt will be harder and harder to clean, until where things might have to be restored and transformed. That's like going to do like a transformation when so much dust and dirt has accumulated that the process could be pretty drastic. Similar to like maybe jumping into the water to clean your body, opposed to just wiping your body off after rinsing your body. Once your mirror has been cleared, your consciousness is cleared, if you're aware, then you will continue on with this cleaning process, so then not much dirt will accumulate. And you'll be in meditation more easily. Even a person that's highly meditative can have a dusty mirror time after time if they don't stay consistent with their practice. Empty your cup so that it may be filled. Become devoid to gain totality. That just goes back to the Taoist story of the professor who went to a temple to learn from a monk, supposedly learn from a monk, but then the professor already had so much knowledge that he was already filled with his own ideas before meeting the monk. Once he met the monk, he was talking about all the things that he knew and all the things, that he wanted to learn. He just kept talking and talking and talking, not allowing the monk to share his experience with the professor. So the monk was serving tea to the professor, and he just kept pouring the tea and pouring it until it started to overfill. It finally overfilled, and it went onto the saucer, but then he kept filling it even more until it overfilled the saucer and went onto the professor's leg. The professor was quite upset, but the monk used this as a way to show to the professor that this is how his mind is. It's overfilled with his own ideas, and because he's so overfilled with his own ideas and thoughts, it prevented him from tasting the experience of the monk. So you need to empty your cup if you want to truly learn. Your cup is your mind, full of knowledge, full of past experiences, full of anticipations of the future. So you need to clear your mind, empty your mind, if you truly want to learn.